I'd like to introduce you to our ring making course. It's a particularly interesting project because it will introduce the beginner to all sorts of techniques. We will be making the ring first of all from copper, which will give a little bit of experience to the maker. We'll be cutting the metal just to the right size and annealing the surface of the metal. Metal gets hard from working. Annealing actually softens the metal and makes it malleable, and it's quite an interesting process. We'll be planishing the surface of the copper to give a really nice texture. Planishing is putting little concave dents, highly polished concave dents, into the surface of the metal using a hammer. The metal, after it's annealed, will be bent around a mandrel, which is called a triplet, and a dead blow hammer is used to form the copper around that the mandrel. We'll show silver soldering of the copper, and the process involves applying flux and using heat to heat the copper up to a temperature which will melt the silver solder. After making the copper ring, you'll have a little bit of confidence, and you can then start to make your ring out of silver. Now, the strip of silver we will provide will be 90 millimeters by 10 millimeters by a millimeter thick, and that will give you plenty of silver to work with. So you'll be measuring it just as you did with the copper to go around your finger, and preparing it in exactly the same way that the copper was prepared. But you'll also see that we need to protect the surface of the silver from oxidation, and we apply a flux all over the surface of the silver. Silver tends to stain when it's heated in the presence of oxygen, and that prevents that happening. Then, after annealing the silver, we will planish it just as we did with the copper, using a highly polished planishing hammer, forming the silver just like we did with the copper around the mandrel or triplet, with a dead blow hammer. And you can see here the fluxing of the silver and then the soldering of that of the surface. After soldering the silver, it will have an oxide on it as well as the dried flux, and that needs to be removed by dropping it into an acid bath of pickle. Once this is done, the silver needs to be finished using a file, and you can see here the pendant drills being used to do the inside of the ring. There's a little bit of sandpaper on a special fitting that fits inside the pendant drill, and that will texture the inside. You sand the surface of the metal, as you can see here, and then put a assay stamp inside there, and then finish the ring by polishing. And here's the finished ring. We do hope you found the project interesting, and it will inspire you to come along to Thinking Hand Studios and have a go.